10:54 to play in the first half. There's Maury's kickoff with the wind behind him. He drives into the end zone, and Darren Miles downs the ball. First down and 10, Nebraska, with the long field to go from their 20.
This was after the last series. Tom Osborne, 31 consecutive winning seasons for Tom Osborne at Nebraska. 24 straight years with 9 wins or more, both NCAA records.
The winningest percentage among any active NCAA coach, but the Huskers have lost their last 5 bowl games. Florida State's not lost a bowl game in a decade. 9-0-1, they had a tie in the Citrus Bowl back in '84. Here's a downfield throw as they go to gadget plays.
That was a lateral. We've seen it all here. The Sugar Bowl's 3-3. We got all the offense here on the floor of the Orange Bowl at the Federal Express Orange Bowl. It's got to be thrown backwards. But this is what Nebraska does to throw the ball.
Intended for Vincent Hawkins.
Not a bad throw by Tremaine Bell. A little off target, but at least it was spinning.
It sets the Huskers with a 2nd and 10. Frazier, errant throw. It's going to be recovered back inside the 5-yard line. Picked up and taken in. Touchdown, Florida State.
Wait a minute. That's not a touchdown. You can't advance a fumble in college football. That goes back to the spot of the fumble, Don.
He signaled touchdown.
He did. Dan Footman is the guy in the recovery, picked it up. Derek Brown couldn't get it, but it's going to come back to the spot of the fumble.
No, you can't advance a fumble in college football, Trump.
This pitch by Frazier, a very poor choice. Derek Brown, the intended guy to get it.
Oh, they're ruling it. They're going to rule it right at the 1-yard line.
You can't advance a fumble. You can't advance a fumble in college football unless the ball is in the air. If the ball is in the air, you can advance it. You know, we documented, and Tom Osborne
touchdown, and it's going to the 2-yard line. That it'll be 1st and goal from there for Florida State.
Yeah, Tom Osborne said one of the greatest things about Tommy Frazier is he has protected the ball. We protected the ball. He's not made bad choices. My question is, Frazier in his home state, in front of 40 family members out of Bradenton, he's trying to be the MVP here on one play. Not a good choice, but a true freshman will make plays like that.
Very few teams protect the ball as well as Nebraska. During one stretch, they went 7.5 games without a fumble. 7.5 games without losing a fumble.
Nebraska led the nation.
Plus 18.
In the giveaway takeaway.
William Floyd with his first carry, a hard-running fullback used primarily as a blocker, but he was quickly taken down. So now the ball goes back to the spot. It's back at the 2-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and goal for the Seminoles.
Reverse.
Vanover. Fumble. Ball on the field. Nebraska has it.
Well, John, 3 times to the well is too much on that reverse.
That would have been a lights-out score. Up 10-0 if they went to 17-0. That could have been it, but Nebraska stays in the game as the ball is picked up by defensive end John Perella.
These I've not seen any signal by the officials. Nebraska's not leaving the field. What's going on here? They're saying Florida State still has the ball.
No fumble. 3rd down.
Yeah, we got a lot of no calls here, don't we?
I beg your pardon? The 3-yard loss. Tell me how this is not a fumble. Did they stop his forward advancement? No.
How's that not a fumble?
I don't know. I guess they're saying his knee down is down, but there's no way. That's a fumble.
So a call goes against the Huskers and Florida Seminoles, and right now a throw to the end zone, and easing on in is Kes McCorvey. Touchdown, Florida State. Dan Maury's back up now to try the point after.
basically uncovered. I mean, down on the goal line, when you see the quarterback just look over there and say, oh, there he is. Look at here. They forgot about him. Look, nobody even close. And, of course, that's after the fumble, non-fumble. Ward again stands tall in that pocket, scans the entire field. He doesn't blow up there when he sees a wide-open receiver. He just goes through his fundamentals, gets it to McCorvey for an easy score.
Took them 3 plays to go 2 yards, but they get there.
Well, they shouldn't have had the opportunity, in my estimation. Demaric Vanover, no question that is a fumble, but ruled a 3-yard loss. Florida State keeps the ball and eventually scores.
Let's go back down to Doc.
Hey, Trump, I just went over and talked to one of the officials, and they told me this was the call on the fumble. They said they called the player down, and they were very emphatic about it. He was down, then the ball came out. Of course, they don't have the benefit of the replay, neither do I, but that was their official ruling when I talked to him a moment ago. Back to you.
The umpire in the end zone signaled touchdown. They took it off. They do score at Florida State. It now goes to 17-0.
Well, in previous lives, they used to employ a system of replay to correct mistakes like that. But that was in a previous life, Mr. Tricky.
Mowry steps into the ball again, hits a spinner with a wind behind him. Aaron Miles fields it at the 5. Not down. He's across the 40, running an open field. He's finally taken down out of the 48-yard line of Florida State.
The kicker, Mowry, kind of bent him out of shape there a little bit. Helped his teammates make this stop. Back to the touchdown by McCorvey. Here is McCorvey. He's going to run what's called a post corner. Fools the corner in coverage, and Charlie Ward does an excellent job of looking away and then coming back to it. Just beautifully executed. That's an easy touchdown.
Straight ahead. And the ball is taken down to the 32-yard line by Derek Brown, who finally gets a carry with the bad shoulder.
What Osborne has done with these two kids is they basically alternated quarters, but I think it's remarkable. You're going to find some football teams who have 2,000-yard rushers, like Nebraska does. You're not going to find any team who has 2,000-yard rushers who alternate. They're not in the game at the same time.
Razor hands off to Lance Lewis. He takes a hard strike at the 29-yard line. Let's watch Marvin Jones here, Trump, the Dominator.
He's not a bad guy to watch all day. He just has that sense for where the ball is, runs through the block of Hawkins, 38, throws the fullback to the ground. This guy is extraordinary. You name it on defense, he can do it. He told us he's thinking about coming out and draft. He says, I don't care. I'll play for the Alaskan Snow Crabs. I don't care who drafts me. I'll play in the NFL.
Whoever drafts him, it's going to be high. #1 rated defensive player. If he does come out, the speculation is that he will, as Derek Brown runs again. Official ruling on the fumble advancement. If the fumble is behind the line of scrimmage, you cannot advance it. With the front of the line of scrimmage, an advanced ball, the defense can advance it. You can't advance fumbles in college football under that scenario, as we're now down to 7 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the first half. Nebraska needing points badly. Here's Frazier stepping in, throwing it sidearm. A little wizardry, but to no avail. Let's go back down to John Dockery.
Thank you, Don. I'm with Fred Jones, Marvin's bigger brother. And what kind of a game is little brother having so far?
He's having a decent game right now. They're putting a couple people on him, so he's making it a little tough for him. Doing a little bit of mixed direction plays to kind of like hold him up, but overall he's doing okay.
Well, I know you played at Florida State as well. Was there any way that little brother Marvin was not going to go to Florida State?
I kind of like doubt it, because when I was getting recruited, he was right there in the living room watching everything, and in the summertime, he used to come up and spend weeks with me at a time, so he grew kind of used to it.
All right, well, thank you, and good luck to you now.
All right, thank you.
Fred Jones, a member of the Dade County Police Department, Marvin's brother.
Jonesy?
Uh-huh.
What are you doing out there?
Hiding.
Huh?
Mr. Jenkins says the package I sent him didn't get there. He's calling every 5 minutes to yell at me.
It's probably in his mailroom. Just call Federal Express. They'll tell you when it got there and who signed for it so Jenkins can yell at him instead.
All I got to do is call Federal Express? Great.
Only Federal Express can confirm delivery in seconds. Other companies can take days.
What are you doing back there? I didn't use Federal Express.
Next time, use Federal Express.
When we gave the Escort of the 90s more power, better handling, more room, and a sleeker look, we received a special recognition. More repeat buyers than any small car in America. Ford Escort.
Start saving $300 a month when you're 23, and you could retire a millionaire. Start at 30, and you might reach 600,000. At 40, about 200,000. Which is why you need Prudential's Financial Assessment Program. A personalized computer analysis of where you are, where you want to go, and how we can help. Because nobody plans to fail. They just fail to plan. Call Prudential Insurance now.
Hoffa.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
2 thumbs up, Siskel and Ebert.
Now's the time not to trust anybody.
Provocative, says Rolling Stone.
You boom, you boom, you boom.
The best film of the year. Hoffa, rated R. Now playing, and also from Fox.
For holiday relief, take 2. Home Alone 2.
I'll do just that.
Brilliant.
I'm confused.
I understand. Home Alone 2, rated PG. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Ford Taurus and a Happy New Year. Get the best lease ever or very special savings on any new Taurus from now until January 5th. In other words, Happy New Year from Ford Taurus.
What will Dame Edna do with Bert, Barry, and Sean?
Dust your bottom with talcum powder.
All new Dame Edna, Saturday at 10, 9 Central.
On NBC.
4th down and 8 for Nebraska. First Trump, they had their kicking team out, their punt team, but now they send quarterback Tommy Frazier and the offense back out. So they're going for it in the rain and in the wind on 4th down, needing 8. All positioned just inside the 30-yard line of Florida State. Frazier from the shotgun throws downfield and makes a perfect throw. Vincent Hawkins on his knees takes in the ball at the 17-yard line. A 12-yard gain and a Husker first down.
That would have been a 46-yard field goal attempt into the wind. Excellent pass protection by this very gifted offensive line. You see Marvin Jones move out of the picture. He's reading the eyes of the quarterback, Tommy Frazier. Zone coverage. Safety's way off. 12-yard pickup. 4th down conversion.
So the Huskers looking to get points before halftime. Still a lot of time left. Here's a pitch. Derek Brown loses it, falls on it. Lost yardage, but the Huskers keep the ball.
Well, that's tough, too, because that's such a big part of their offense. Running that option. Frazier has got to be very accurate with that pitch. They option off the inline on the line of scrimmage, and now put that one on Brown. That pitch was a good pitch by Tommy Frazier. Brown should have caught it as he comes out of the game.
6 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the half now. Clock running. 2nd down and 15 coming up. Jones and Brown fumbled only twice all season for Nebraska. They were 6 full games without any turnovers at all. 7.5 without a fumble loss. Frazier looked like they were trying to set some kind of a screen, but Florida State just crashed apart the blocking scheme. Not close to a gain.
Blitz coming by Florida State. Ball was intended for Calvin Jones, one of the 2 I-backs, and you're right, Frazier couldn't get the ball to him cleanly. Now watch the blitz coming from both ends. Lots of pressure there. He's got to throw it by everybody. Probably a good choice on Frazier's part.
Frazier 3 of 8 throwing the ball for 37 yards. Hands in, goes to the end zone, and he will hit nothing at all. Let's see, do they go again on 4th and 15? Apparently not.
4th and 15 from the 22.
Byron Bennett, their place kicker, comes out.
Missed his first attempt.
This is a heavy load for Byron right now. He's going to be kicking into that gusting wind. The flag is almost straight out. And the open end of the Orange Bowl, the north end of the stadium. A 39-yard attempt. He's got to hit it hard to get it up into this wind. He hits it hard, but wide.
I guess the Miami Hurricanes own that goalpost. There's just no other way to look at it.
Coach Batten talking about practicing at the University of Miami. He said they do have funny goalposts here. They all lean over to the right.
Well, there's absolutely no sympathy as the Florida State offense again takes the field.
Let's go back down to the dock.
You know, Crick, there's an important, I just got a report on injury. Vanover went into the locker room, slight separation of his left shoulder, status uncertain. We'll keep you up to date on it, but that could hurt Florida State's offense enormously.
Yeah, who's going to run that reverse for Florida State?
Vanover and Ward both are going to be legitimate Heisman Trophy candidates. Two guys from the same team next season. Straight up the middle. And Sean Jackson running hard. Breaks it ahead on a first down carry for a gain of 8 yards. Taken down by the strong safety, Steve Carmer.
Now, again, here, an entirely different mindset for the Florida State offense. They come with 2 running backs, a big fullback in Floyd, Jackson behind him, and they run just the I formation. This is the offense that Bobby Bowden used to run when he had Marion Butts here.
Yeah.
When he had Sammy Smith here. I mean, a lot of great running backs ran out of that I back.
Amp Lee.
Dexter Carter.
The Comanche Waves. All of them track athletes. Again, Sean Jackson. Very nice ball handling by Charlie Ward. Made the drop like he still had the ball. Held the defense, and Jackson broke off another good gainer for a first down.
Number one, baby, number one, all day long.
Here's the guy who has been designated as the kind of spy, but with the 2 running backs in there, David White's got to make some tackles. His father works for an oil company, and his family presently lives in Jakarta, Indonesia. That's a long trip home, isn't it?
It's a real long trip home. They made the long trip to Tokyo when they played Kansas State over there. Charlie Ward on the run, and he is across the 40 on a 1st and 10 play. Way back in the pass drop, he sprints ahead and gains about 3 yards. He's 2nd down and 7.
I would imagine the only one that doesn't like to see Charlie Ward, the quarterback here, run and get himself bruised and maybe broken is Pat Kennedy, the Florida State basketball coach, because tomorrow night, Charlie Ward is going to be on the bench for the Florida State Seminoles. They play Florida, but now he is the proud possession of one Bobby Bowden, and Bobby's going to use him any way he wants. Thank you.
He'll be playing January 6th. That'll be his first game in basketball. We go against Virginia. Downfield throw. Beautifully done. This is Shannon Baker on the run. He's inside the 40 and down to the 37-yard line. And a penalty marker's down. Might have had that face mask again.
Steve Carmer, the strong safety, I think, gets the face mask. The man in coverage, John Reese, number 6 for Nebraska, has been taken advantage of a little bit here tonight.
Yeah, they spotted that number early.
Nice little out, and watch the move. Very nice move there by Baker up the field. Let's see if we can see the face mask. Yes, no question whatsoever.
Bobby Bowden talking about the advantage the Southern team has. Tom Osborne said some year he'd like to play Duluth in a bowl game. So we'd be Wisconsin, Green Bay.
I'm not going to Duluth with you to do that bowl. You're on your own, pal.
Fast break, shotgun set. Ward steps up and runs out of bounds inside the 33-yard line. Charlie Ward's dad, Charlie Ward Sr., was a standout football player for the Rattlers of Florida A&M and a very fine high school coach in Georgia. He's from Thomasville, Georgia. His dad grades out every one of his plays. Even now, he grew up a coach's son and plays like one. He really knows the game.
Yes, he does. You know, the impact this kid has had on the ACC, the conference that Florida State now plays football in. He was a write-in most valuable player winner in the conference this year.
Bobby Bowden says about him, don't know a word to describe him. It's wonderful. On the field, off the field, he's a vice president of the student body, a top student, and one of the greatest college athletes in America. Basketball and football. Might be a free play. Charlie lets it fly. Going for the ball. Looks like a catch. Coming down with the ball was Omar Ellison. they're going to bring it back.
Pass is complete.
Where do they get all these guys?
Now they're ruling it. Play's going to go, apparently. Penalty marker was down at the line of scrimmage.
Flag is
I think it's
down.
offsides against the defense.
Offsides on the defense is declined.
It goes.
Yeah, why not? Top of the screen. Again, it's man coverage. You also see the guy offsides. Well done here. Coming back with the football. You know, we could spend the entire night talking about Charlie Ward. Bobby Bowden has said, you know, when Charlie Ward graduates, we're all going to have to go back to coaching.
Is that right? Yes, he did. It's not hard to be a Charlie Ward fan after you meet with him for a while.
Oh, he's a good kid. Nicknamed Choir Boy by his teammates. He wears 17 in football, and his basketball number is number 12. He wears on a necklace.
Ward throws towards the end zone. It skips in front of the intended receiver, Shannon Baker.
Intended for Shannon Baker.
As Ward gets up, his football hero, by the way, is Randall Cunningham. And the other night, he got to meet his basketball hero. The security guards for Florida State here at the Federal Express Orange Bowl got a hold of the security guards of the Chicago Bulls. And Michael Jordan and Charlie Ward sat down and had a conversation after the Miami Heat game. Here he is as a point guard for Florida State.
He doesn't wear 12 in football. That number belongs to Matt Pryor, one of his receivers. Here's a throw and a drop down at the 2-yard line. On a crossing pattern coming out of the backfield was the fullback, William Floyd.
Florida State just doesn't seem to have the intensity. Up 17-0. Just the little things going wrong here. There were two receivers there, Baker and Floyd. Floyd's normally the guy who runs it for a yard or two for the touchdown. But he makes it look easy, doesn't he?
Sure does. And the Seminoles are in command, 17-0.
They go by names like Chapel Lane and Maple Street, California Highway 1, and the Great White Way. The roads we travel start out in small towns like Pottersville, and they can take you as far as bigger towns, like Pumpkin Corners. They go by places where people still stop and say hello to old friends, and make new ones. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, all across America. And every day, with every car nationwide, only Alamo gives you all those miles for free, including the ones that go from sea level to the sky. The ones that take us through a country we call America, to the place we call home.
Thanks to Smart Rate from the Discover card, interest charges now have a whole new bottom line. Smart Rate, currently as low as 14.9%. It pays to Discover.
As times changed, so did the Ford full-size pickup. But it was always one tough truck, and boy, could it haul a load. Today, it's still tough. But it's designed to ride better. It has more style, more comfort. And boy, can it haul a load. Times change, trucks change. But Ford Tough never does.
With Russ Beeler's in-laws in town, he served KFC Super Value Buckets. Get 15 pieces of original recipe or a bucket full of hot wing pieces. The KFC Super Value Buckets, just $9.99 each.
We do chicken right.
An all-new Sunday on NBC. People in foreign countries are trying to steal from your bank account. See who protects the American dollar.
Get out of the car. Keep your hands on your head.
Based on actual cases. An all-new Secret Service. Then a powerboat out of control. The mystery of the Circle Saw. And a terrifying twister. Those videos and more. An all-new eyewitness video following Secret Service. NBC Sunday.
An extended drive for Florida State. 8 plays, 70 yards. Seminoles challenging again already with a commanding 17-0 lead. Don Quickie with Bob Crumpy and John Dockery at the Federal Express Orange Bowl.
3rd and goal for Florida
Watch
State.
for Charlie Ward running here, Don.
Averages 5 yards a rush when he runs. Loses the ball, gets it himself. Charlie Ward does great things. He throws towards the end zone and almost makes the connection for a touchdown to Omar Ellison.
Ward fumbles.
You don't have him down, Trump. You knock him down and sit on him.
Yeah, he's so gifted an athlete, you just can't imagine what it takes. Miles was the man in coverage. He has such presence. That's the thing I like about Charlie Ward. You know, when this season started, Florida State had no idea what they had in Charlie Ward. They were looking for a quarterback. And in the first part of the season, they tried the play-action passing, didn't work. And when they got to the shotgun, they discovered what an uncut gem they had.
And Dan Mowry ready to try a field goal try from 24 yards out.
Yeah, all those people in town, sure, right, yeah, he made 2 field goals in this end.
Florida State doesn't duck anybody. Next year, their out-of-conference games will be against Miami, Florida, Notre Dame. They open a home-and-home series with Notre Dame, a 2-year series. They'll play at South Bend next November. High overhead tonight is the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. It was 1960 when the Goodyear Blimps made their national television debut. It was right here at the Orange Bowl.
You know, speaking of Bobby Bowden, Florida State University, in the last 6 seasons, they've lost 8 games. They've lost 5 to Miami, 1 to Florida. The only other losses are to Southern Mississippi and Clemson. This guy's trying to be the number one, have the number 1 team in the country. That he can't even have the number 1 team in the state. That's how good football at the collegiate level in Florida is.
Hey, Trump, one of the Florida State coaches I was talking before the game, Chuck Amato, defensive coach, was saying if Florida, Miami, and Florida State never played each other, some year they'd all go undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, these 3 teams produce so many football players to the NFL. It's scary when you sit down and think and look at the NFL roster.
High spinning kick by Mowry. Aaron Miles at the 8-yard line. Looks for the gap and finds one, and he advances the ball out to the 36-yard line, then loses it. One critical development with the replay show without question that Charlie Ward fumbled the ball on a rollout. They called it no fumble, and subsequently they scored a touchdown.
Well, here they're going to rule the same thing. No fumble, down by contact. Nebraska maintains the ball. 2:24 to go, down 20-0.
First down for Nebraska. From their
Knee down, ball out. Good call by the officials.
Frazier. A tough throw, rolling left, throwing right.
Yeah, and you see, that's certainly a product of this kind of offense as you look at the Bowl Day Blues here for Nebraska. The last 4 bowls they've played in, they've lost by a combined total of 90 points. 90 points.
This is not good.
This is not good.
Well, I asked Tom Osborne about how he feels about it, and there was a lot of criticism, despite having a great winning percentage, about the bowl game misfortunes. And he said, well, a lot has to do with who we're playing. I played Miami a couple times down here, so you try that one out. Frazier pulls up. And as is so often the case, he who hesitates is lost back at the 35-yard line. Clifton Abraham and LaVon Brown got him.
Frazier's not had a good half. 3 of 10, just 39 yards. Of course, they only average 100 yards passing. He looked at the sideline to see where the marker was to see if he could throw it. He was going to hesitate there and throw the ball down the field, but Mr. Abraham said, no, you're going to stop right here.
Osborne, when asked about his consistent running game and lack of a pass offense, says, well, we play, this is how you win. We're equipped to do what we can do best to win. And said it's not easy to throw the ball in the Big 8 late in the season when the weather turns bad. Now Frazier, there's now what a throw. Hits Corey Dixon down to the 45-yard line. That's the best throw of the night. 19-yarder right on target.
1:26 to go, trailing 20-0, and they don't have a straight drop back pass. It's a slight roll. Dixon is the inside receiver, gets by the bump. Well thrown by Frazier, his 4th completion of the half. but Florida State's more than happy to let them do that.
First down from the Seminoles, 45.
Pitch back. Running hard is Calvin Jones, and Jones is going to be taken out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. And that stops the clock with 1:13 to play in the first half.
Don, you were mentioning Tom Osborne, and he's taken a lot of heat for the athletes he has and has not gotten. He said, look, the state of Nebraska is 1.5 million people. We come down here to play in the Orange Bowl, and I mean, they got phone books here that only part of Miami is 1.5 million people. So we don't have the people to draw from that they have down here.
And that's one of the reasons that Florida turns out so many great players is a huge population base. Good weather. It's a year-round sport at a lot of schools. Downfield, Corey Dixon. He takes it in. Nebraska's on the board. Thank you so very much, says Corey Dixon. Opportune bounce of the ball on a 41-yard touchdown pass play.
They played yours and mine with it, Don.
So it's 20-6. Corey Sawyer, one of the DBs, had a hand on the ball, and Corey Dixon ended up with it for Nebraska.
Back and forth, like a tennis match. Dixon ends up with it, 6 points. Yes, sir. 4 catches, now 86 yards, and a touchdown. A bow to the crowd.
Isn't that what they used to tell you, Trump? Look it into your hands.
Look it into somebody's hands, hopefully yours.
Extra point is driven up and through by Byron Bennett. And so with 1:03 to play in the first half, Nebraska cuts into the Florida State lead and now trails by 13 points. 5 plays, 63 yards in a minute and a half.
Watch this pattern. The out and up. And unfortunately, the defensive back Corey Sawyer bites. The ball hangs up. Sawyer's hands off the helmet, off the shoulder pads. Touched about everything you can touch down there, and it ends up for a touchdown. Thank you very much.
These are excellent corners that Florida State has also. Corey Sawyer and Clifton Abraham. And Corey Dixon on the board for Nebraska. Bobby Bennett said they're as good as any pair we've ever had. You've got to consider he's had guys like Buckley and Sanders.
Hey, the hard, baby. Hey, the hard.
We're not be celebrating too much just yet.
No. Dr. Tom Osborne doesn't care for that. Tommy Frazier, a touchdown throw in the Orange Bowl.
Vanover Trump is not on the field to return the kickoff. A slight shoulder separation for the freshman sensation, and now Tiger McMillan is back to return the kick for Florida State. There's Tiger, got his real name Sam, a little Tiger tank he was quite fond of, and got the nickname Tiger long ago. Yeah. Takes a full stick. That's back downstairs now to John Dockery. Doc?
Crick, you were talking about pretty good cornerbacks. How about this man, Terrell Buckley? Not a bad one. Terrell, what is it with FSU and defensive backs?
I think it's the attitude along with the coach. Coach Mick Andrews thrives on us being great.
Tough year for you. You came all that way at Green Bay and you don't make the playoffs. Let me ask you, who do you like in the AFC to go all the way to the Super Bowl?
I like the Houston.
Houston's playing Buffalo, you know, up in Buffalo. It could be a weather thing. You think they can beat Buffalo?
I think so because it's a momentum thing, and right now Houston has the momentum.
What about on the other side? What about the NFC? Who do you like to go to the Super Bowl?
It's out of 2 teams, Minnesota and San Francisco. Minnesota has the momentum right now, and San Francisco is San Francisco.
All right, we appreciate it. Good luck to you now. All right.
Well put.
Terrell Buckley, the winner of the Thorpe Award last year. College football's best defensive back. Coach Bowden let his guys go out and have some fun. He had a 1 a.m. curfew earlier in the week. They said everybody in by 1 a.m. though. He said, ain't much that happens after 1 a.m. that's good.
That's right. He's now very proud of his son Terry, who got the head coaching job at Auburn. He's got to not only recruit against Dennis Erickson in Miami, and now he's got to recruit against his son at Auburn.
Breaking the run is Tiger McMillan out to the 25-yard line, and that could do it for the first half of play here at the Federal Express Orange Bowl. As the favorite stands tall at halftime, Florida State, champion of the ACC, leading Big 8 champion Nebraska 20-7. Now let's go back down to Doc.
Bobby, a moment, if you would. What about the first half? Weather didn't bother you at all?
No, the weather, it's not that bad. It did get some rain, but I don't think it's having any effect on the game.
Well, what about the first half then? You seem to move the ball at times on spurts in offense, but you couldn't put them away. It's 20-7.
Well, that's true. We've done pretty well as far as scoring is concerned, but they can come back and beat us. We're going to have to execute better, and we're going to have to put some points on the board.
What about Vanover?
Vanover got hurt a little bit. I don't know how much. Went into the dressing room. I got to find out.
What does that do to the offense if you don't have him for the second half?
Well, it takes away a home run hitter, as you just saw, because you saw his potential of breaking the game.
Thank you, Bobby. Good luck.
Thank you.
And now we're going to go to Jim Lampley in New York for the Prudential halftime report.
All right, thanks very much, Don Cricky. We'll start with the off-the-field story of the day in college football in case you've somehow missed it. The resignation of USC head football coach Larry Smith 3 days after the Trojans' dispiriting loss to Fresno State in the Freedom Bowl. Smith coached USC for 6 years. The tenure included 3 Rose Bowls, the last of them back in 1990. A short time ago, outgoing USC athletic director Mike McGee, who supervised the hiring of a new coach, commented on Larry Smith's departure.
Obviously, the Freedom Bowl was something that was part of these discussions, but these discussions, I want to assure you, extend back prior to any one game.
All right, now let's go to the on-the-field stories, beginning with the national championship battle in New Orleans in the Sugar Bowl, where Michael Proctor has just moments ago kicked his second field goal of the game to give Alabama's Crimson Tide a 6-3 lead over Miami in the second quarter. Moving on to the Rose Bowl, which had its most exciting game in 30 years today. Michigan holding on down the stretch to beat Washington in a thriller 38-31. The Huskies were looking for a record 3rd consecutive Rose Bowl win, and with Michigan leading 17-7 in the first half. Washington quarterback Mark Brunell, who had a big day, hits Jason Shelley for a controversial 64-yard touchdown. Shelley appears to fumble the football as he crosses the goal line, but it was ruled a touchdown. The Michigan lead was cut to 17-14. Seesaw battle from there. Wolverines leading 21-17 on the first play from scrimmage in the second half. Tyrone Wheatley set a Rose Bowl record with an 88-yard touchdown run, longest run in Rose Bowl history. Part of Wheatley's spectacular day, he had 15 carries, 235 yards, and 3 TDs. And then with the score tied 31-31, quarterback Elvis Gerback went to tight end Tony McGee, who made big plays all day long for the Wolverines. That was the go-ahead touchdown on a 15-yard reception, second touchdown of the day for Tony McGee. And the Wolves, as I mentioned, held on to win it 38-31. They finished the season at 9-0-3. Turn to the Fiesta Bowl, also an exciting game. And Syracuse held on to beat Colorado there 26-22, a game in which Colorado largely self-destructed. The game began with this verbal confrontation at midfield. Number 99, Leonard Renfro of Colorado, up in arms for a group of Syracuse players. Syracuse dominated much of the first half, but trailed 7-6 at halftime. Early in the third quarter, Syracuse led 12-10 when Marvin Graves took off for a 28-yard touchdown run, gave the Orangemen a 19-10 lead. Colorado's next possession, however, was capped by a 16-yard touchdown pass. Cordell Stewart to Charles Johnson. You'll watch Johnson extend the ball in his hand over the goal line. The extra point attempt failed, one of 2 that Colorado missed in the game, and the Buffaloes trailed 19-16. Then the big play of the game, ensuing kickoff. Kadri Ismail hands it off to Kirby Dardar on the reverse. Dardar slips the one tackle and goes the rest of the way untouched. A 100-yard kickoff return. That made it 26-16 Syracuse. The Orangemen held on to win 26-22. They have now won 5 of their last 6 bowl appearances and had a tie in the other. Marvin Graves was voted an MVP in a bowl game for the 3rd consecutive year. There was also the Mobile Cotton Bowl earlier today here on NBC. Notre Dame powdered Texas A&M 28-3 as the Irish ended A&M's hopes for an unbeaten season. Rick Meyer and Lou Holtz talking about a scoreless first half until with 45 seconds to go before intermission, they got this 40-yard touchdown play, pass and run into the hands of Lake Dawson. That made it 7-0. The Irish came out and dominated the second half against the Aggies. As first Meyer got his second touchdown pass on this 27-yard throw to Jerome Bettis. Bettis later added 2 short touchdown runs. Notre Dame now with 8 wins in 10 games in bowl games against teams with unbeaten records. Very quickly, the rest of the gate, Ohio State, Garrison Hurst's numbers there. He was the key figure in the game. Stanford easily beat Penn State in the Blockbuster Bowl. Bill Walsh's team gets 10 wins. First Stanford team to win 10 in 52 years. And Boston College continued its late season slide, losing for the 3rd time in 4 games against Tennessee, as Philip Fulmer wins his first game as the official head coach of the Volunteers, and Tom Coughlin will now settle the arguments about whether he's leaving Boston College to come and coach the New York Giants. We'll be back a bit later on in halftime with a look at the Oilers-Bills wild card meeting on Sunday. Right now, let's go back down to the Orange Bowl and to the Cornhusker marching band.
Thanks, Jim. And right now, I want you to enjoy the University of Nebraska marching band. And now here is a message from the University of Nebraska.
Hard work, determination. That's what makes the Huskers so successful. They've racked up impressive numbers over the years, with one statistic that no other school even comes close to. The University of Nebraska-Lincoln has produced more academic All-American athletes than any other university in the country. The University of Nebraska-Lincoln, champions of academic excellence.
College can be a bridge to the future. It's a place where you're free to express yourself. A time to find out what you're really capable of. But when testing your limits involves alcohol, when breaking away includes drinking and driving, when expressing yourself includes losing control, the lessons you learn in college may not help you get anywhere at all.
And now we're going to watch the Florida State marching band as they performed earlier. Here is a message from Florida State University.
From opera to oil paint, modern dance to motion pictures, Florida State University is a leader in the visual and performing arts. Internationally renowned programs. A distinguished faculty preparing talented students to be artists, performers, teachers, and scholars. Applauding artistic and academic achievement at Florida State University.
From Red Grange to the modern grace of Olympian Tracy Corkins, the flavor and pageantry of all 21 men's and women's collegiate sports come alive at the NCAA Visitor Center. Come celebrate the magic moments in college sports at the NCAA Visitor Center, open year-round in Kansas City.
And welcome back to the Federal Express Orange Bowl, where the score at halftime is Florida State 20, Nebraska 7. And now it's time to enjoy another Orange Bowl halftime spectacular featuring the Fifth Dimension and Lee Greenwood. It's titled Back from the Future.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's join the Flintstones and the Rumbles as they entertain their friends at the Bedrock Cafe. It's Fred of the Stoneway and Barney on bass with one of those newfangled rock tunes called Back in Time.
Tell me, Barney, where are we going this time? Is it the 50s or 1999? Oh, yeah. All I wanted to do is play my Stoneway piano and sing to you. So take me away. I don't mind. But you better promise me I'll be back in
And now the Bedrock Cafe would like to present their featured act for the evening, The Fifth Dimension.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius, Aquarius, by some chance you find yourself lovely, we'll find a cloud to hide us, keep the moon beside us. Love is waiting there in my beautiful balloon, way up in the air in my beautiful balloon. If you'll hold my hand and chase your dreams across the clouds, for we can fly.
From the world of make-believe and fantasy, back to the world of reality. Here's the one and only Lee Greenwood.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from the sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love you. God bless the USA.
Our entire cast now joins Lee from Miami to say, thank you, USA.
You can see it on their faces. You can feel it in the air. It's the pride of knowing we will see this through. Right here in South Florida, from the Bay to the Everglades, we are proving what courageous men can do. The light of hope is shining on Miami once again. Thanks to friends and neighbors all across the USA, side by side, standing tall, all for one, one for all. This is the spirit of America today. We're a force that won't be silenced, a force that will
The Prudential Halftime Report with Jim Lampley will follow after these messages from your local stations.
Pageant Director and Coordinator Bill Manu.